I'm here at the Circle B bar on Shabbat in a peaceful place, like David the shepherd, hanging out in the fields with the sheep. Checking out some nice fish here in the freshwater, heavy rain last night. And at the moment I have on my mind a title: The Problem of the Head Covering. The problem of the head covering. Now, since head covering and things that people wear on their bodies are a part of style, and style is affected by your peer group and the people around you. Oh, Mom, nobody wears a hat like that. Oh, Mom, those pants are weird. Nobody wears pants like that. Because what you wear on your body is an issue. It's an issue. Come on, let's face it. It's an issue. Since what you wear on your body is a difficult issue, and then you come to this point. When a man prays or prophesies with his head covered, he disgraces Christ, literally as if the veil of the temple were not torn, and we have to go back to the era of the temple and the tabernacle and the law of Moses for atonement for sin. The Passover Seder was the time of atonement for sin. Y'all don't get taught that when you have your Passover Seder, the grandfathers tell the sins of the family across the past year, and the little lamb that has been nurtured by all the families, especially the kids, the little lamb goes to the temple to have its throat cut. The sin lists are held over the head of the lamb, and the lamb is killed. And the children know that the sins of my family go on to the death of the lamb and the sacrifice, and the atonement is made. So, if you're living with that every single year, when Messiah shows up and says, now, don't worry about the temple, just come together and have the meal of my body and blood, the meal of joy and the meal of suffering, the remembrance of the crucifixion. So when the men pray or prophesy with their prayer shawls over their heads, they are acting as if Messiah actually didn't show up, and they are disgracing Christ. The women are basically not taught how wonderful they are, and they're oppressed, and they are misunderstood, and I mean, the quality of the teaching is so weak, so bad. I didn't even start to discover the wonders of the woman and the woman form until I was like 40 years old. The woman is the etzer. The etzer is not just a person that helps you wash your dishes. The woman is a surrounding protective essence against enemies. Look up the word etzer, E-T-S-E-R. Look in Genesis 2. I think it's Genesis 2, verse 18. Go to Blue Letter Bible. Find the word in Strong's help meet. Help meet. Or in some other translations, helper. Find the word help meet. You'll find it show up in Genesis. Look it up in your Blue Letter Bible. push the tools button, and you will get each Greek word. Then chase down the word etzer, helpmeet. It doesn't mean a person that helps you wash the dishes. It is a supernatural power, a rescuer, a supernatural protecting power. That's what the woman is. Woman form is amazing. When she walks into the room, everything gets better. The men feel better, and the children go, "Ba, mommy, mommy." The woman form is amazing. And it's not that the men have lust. It's just that it feels right when we have the woman with us. But there's a downside. The woman is more easily tricked by bad spirits and literally can lead the man and the whole family astray with nice ideas. Oh, it makes you more like God. Oh, it's really good for your health. It's good for your body. Oh, it's very, very beautiful. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil blended together. There are pleasures that are definitely pleasurable, but those pleasures can also be received in a way that is deadly, dangerous, wrong, evil blended with good. Good truly blended with evil. So, the problem of the head covering. I want a happy house and happy friends to come together and actually be friends of God together and get guidance for our life projects and situations. So, I have been guided by the spirit of joy and loving kindness how to create an atmosphere in your house that makes it actually fun to do the head covering thing in a way that is reasonable in the times of your corporate gathering. Not all day long, not everywhere you go, but when you come together to cleanse your hearts and your souls and receive the unity meal. Literally, Christ is omnipresent. Jesus is physically present with us, and we're putting him physically inside our bodies by our faith, not by our words, not by transubstantiation, by our faith. When we say, may this be for us, the body and blood of Yeshua, by our faith, it manifests as Jesus and the demons tremble. When we got Jesus inside of us and we hit the streets, who can destroy us? They might come against us, and they will come against us, but they cannot destroy us. So, what do? We go into the woods. Remember how Jesus hung out in the woods? Jesus hung out in the woods with his Father in the wilderness places. And the disciples said, Master, Master, where were you? Everybody's looking for you. Where were you? Where were you? And his mother and parents were like, hey, where were you? Where were you? It's like, don't you know I need to be about my Father's business? I'm sorry, you can't understand everything I'm doing, and you can't be where every place I am. And you shouldn't be sitting there evaluating what I'm doing or not doing. Stay in the peace of God and do your very best. So Jesus went into the woods. So we go into the woods and we find a branch, a little stick, a stick that is at least 5 or 8 feet long. And we go and find a bracket. We go to Michael's, go to Home Depot, go to Hobby Lobby, go to Lowe's, go to the hardware store, go to Bed Bath & Beyond, and find yourself 2 cool brackets, and you hang that branch on the wall, and that branch is going to be the hanging place of the fabric, the prayer shawls. Yay! And you can leave that branch natural. The fishies are jumping around. That's cool. You can leave that branch natural. You can coat it in polyurethane. You can paint it gold. You can paint it silver. You can paint it white and write letters on it. Whatever you want to do. But that's your branch that came out of the woods in a place where you would go and pray, just like Jesus did. Pick a place that you would return to. This is where our branch came from. part of this woods is in our house. And then you purchase 4 prayer shawls, or you make 4 prayer shawls. Why? Peter, James, and John. 3 people without unbelief. 3 people that had supernatural awareness and goodness that Yeshua selected. Jesus had the 3, and he had the 12, and he had the 70, and he had the multitude of disciples. And in John 6:66, it says, many of his disciples left and never returned again. Here's a nice fishy. Many of his disciples left and never returned again. And he said to the 12, are you guys going to take off? And he said, how can we? You have the words of life. We can't do that. So, but there's 3 that he took with him to 3 places. The raising of Jairus' daughter, look it up, read it. The raising of Jairus' daughter, look it up, just Google it. The raising of Jairus' daughter, the transfiguration, read all of the passages for transfiguration and meditate on the idea of Jesus in his shining white form walking through the Garden of Eden, the garden just like this, in his shining white form. And Adam and Eve are not afraid of him because they can look at him in his real form and say, hey, there's the God that formed us. That's the extension of the highest God. This is the God who makes things and solves problems. So the transfiguration, and then the third place that Jesus brings Peter, James, and John is Gethsemane. And they fall asleep 3 times. But still, he brought them with him to pray. Peter, James, and John. So if Peter, James, and John were on your street, they would just look like 3 Jewish guys, and Jesus was with them. And the scriptures say that he was nobody special. He was not special and handsome, and we would not kind of run towards him because of his handsomeness. He was a very ordinary-looking guy. So those are 4 guys, and those 4 prayer shawls hanging on your branch, they are what? They are the representation of the beginning of the season of the sent ones. They traveled together for 3 years, the sent ones. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. They traveled together for 3 years. Jesus said, I came into this cosmos to go from town to town, to cover as much territory as possible, and interact with as much as the human family as I possibly can. Don't get excited about the miracles. Look, there's a happy little gator. Don't get excited about the miracles. The gator is enjoying the downstream flow of water, hanging out there in the sun. Yahoo. Glory, glory, glory. Hey, happy little gator right here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's kind of like sitting there in the downflow from the water. Just kind of hanging out in the sun. So, when somebody comes to your house, you pick out one person and you put the prayer shawls on the people. Now, you start out with 4 prayer shawls, and you bless the prayer shawls and the branch that you got from the woods. And that is how you have a true ecclesia meeting. The men are challenged to say, hey, what are the demons that you feel like are probably still around you after your salvation that got in from your youth? Remember, your whole lifetime, demons are going to try to take up residence in a sneaky way. Your whole lifetime. And you need to keep coming together. You need to be immersed into an honesty family that does communion, led by the men who admit their faults and who have a home that's led with joy and good cheer and honesty. So we make the using of the fabric pleasant and interesting and fun and a special blessing in the home. It is written, the synagogue or the meeting place becomes a falsehood if the real practice of the friendship with God is not practiced by the men in the home. And that also, according to James, means the home is sheltering fatherless children and women who have no safety and no shelter. That means, yes, that means that your household brings people into it. And if you're a woman, the Holy Spirit will reveal through your communion group the guidance of your lifestyle and your living situation, observing your history and the types of spirits that have fooled around with you, and the types of spirits that would operate in a spiritual arena. I've seen many people that were cold and impersonal, and then they joined a church group that is cold and impersonal towards many other denominations, which literally becomes blasphemy, the accusing of the brethren. I am so thankful to be able to walk. I sit in a room where there are many people who cannot walk on their own. I am so thankful to be in the Circle B bar. This is a place of natural beauty. The first time I came here, I thought, this is the kind of place where David the shepherd would go to write his 1,000 psalms while looking after the sheep. Banging on a drum, picking a few chords on a harp, kinanon. Do-da-dun. Let me go and complete the beautiful plan. Let me go and walk through the land. Let me go, let me sing in harmony. Let me go, it's a time for you and me. You are not alone. You are walking side by side. You are not alone. There's no reason to hide. Let me go among the people of the little land. Let me go and put my little feet in the sand. Let the children come to me. I pray to you, Bring the children to learn what to do. Bring the children, bring them now. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Let them bring the children to us now. Just when I started singing that, the child showed up. Okay. Well, folks, greetings from Circle Beach.